So 2025 is finally here. Happy New Year's, everyone. And with that, Global and JP Dokkan are officially synced together for the first time in 10 years. Everything is going to be coming at the exact same time for both versions. All players around the world will be able to celebrate together at all times, which is a very exciting thing, especially with the 10th anniversary coming up within the next month, at least at the time of this video. Now, because it is going to be a brand new year for Global Dokkan, there will be a lot of changes in when things release, how things release, and everything that comes with it. So I decided to go ahead and make a video going through how the schedule works now that you guys are on the JP Dokkan schedule, so you could properly plan your stones ahead and kind of know what you're getting into with the brand new release schedule. Of course, let me know what you guys' most anticipated thing is going to be coming from this new schedule, or whatever you're excited for in terms of Dokkan this year. We have the new Dokkan 2 update coming too, really exciting, but we're gonna mostly be talking about banner releases, important dates such as like anniversary countdown, anniversary release, etc, etc. So it's gonna be a pretty lengthy video. Feel free to go ahead and get some snacks, things like that, and we'll hop right into it. Now, it is funny, we'll be starting with one of the biggest changes happening to Global Dokkan, and that is the anniversary new start time. So usually the anniversary does begin on July 7th for the global version, and banners sometimes drop up to the 9th of July. This year is going to be much different because on JP, the anniversary is right at the end of January. So within the next few weeks of this recording, the 10th anniversary is actually going to be dropping. Now, it is dead for the first couple of weeks, give or take, in January, but right from the 21st of January, more or less, is when the countdown officially starts to begin. And the countdown is a very exciting time because at that point we would have gotten a lot of teasers already and have a good idea of what the anniversary is. And these countdown images only add to the excitement of what's going to be happening. Sometimes the countdown does drop like a new event, or even like last year we got EZA STRUY Goku to kind of really hype us up for this celebration. And as we pass that week-long time frame, we finally began the new anniversary on the 28th of January. Again, give or take depending on your time zone, but it is within that period of time regardless. And the added bonus is that on JP, the banners usually always drop within the same 24 hours of the anniversary officially starting. So once the anniversary starts, we'll get basically like the anniversary live stream going on, along with the banners officially coming out in game. And from there, we'll be able to summon on the part 1 LRs for the 10th anniversary, in the future 11th, 12th, etc, etc. However long Dokkan goes on, man, it's gonna probably go on for a very long time still at this point. But with that, we can get some extra, events coming out later on the week. We'll get like EZAs, just a very exciting time. But of course, we do want to point out it's going to be the same time frame every year. This is one of the most opportune times to use and save your stones up for this time. I really always recommend that you guys skip, like, let's say the end of your Dual Dokkan Festival, just because it is such a close time frame to the anniversary. But that is when the part 1 Dual Dokkan Festival does actually end up dropping. Then as we continue on through the anniversary, part 2 usually comes out around February 10th. We don't get the part 2 LRs until a few days after the second part starts, but we usually start things off with a pretty strong EZA. Last year, for example, was the Blue Falcon Goku and Evolution Vegeta. Then, of course, about 5-ish days later, we do have, throughout that time, the official reveals for the Part 2 LR, and of course, we get them in-game, which last year was LR Beast Gohan and the LR Gammas, both very strong characters. Then we cap things off with the final part of the anniversary, which usually does drop around the 21st, right? And with that, we usually get EZAs for previous anniversary LR characters, which last year ended up being the year 6 LRs, and this year we do expect to see the year 7 LRs EZA. And those two characters are going to be really powerful, so really major fingers crossed for that, but we're actually able to see those EZAs come out and be oppressive. I would be shocked if they aren't, but that is generally the time frame. The anniversary does end up winding down after that though, and officially ends around the 4th of March. Now that is the entire anniversary schedule. Of course, throughout that time we will get a bunch of different events and things like that, but that is one of the major things to look out for when it comes to this new year of Dokkan. Now from here, unless there is an EX part of the anniversary, which only so far has happened for the 7th year of Dokkan, we can hop right into March. So we start March off with a pretty just normal TUR Dokkan Fest, nothing really too special about them. Doesn't mean they can't be good, doesn't mean they're gonna be bad, but it's just a celebration that's a very basic, almost bare bones. It is like a rest period post anniversary when people really have just used up their stones, so a lot of times they don't drop a character that's exciting for a lot of players, at least just in a general landscape of things. Now this Dokkan Fest is usually teased around the 2nd-ish of March. It really does depend on the different dates, if it's a weekend or not, and they usually drop by no later than the 5th of March, so we can expect a similar thing to be happening next year. Last year, this Dokkan Fest was AGL First Form Frieza, which again wasn't really necessarily a great character, wasn't necessarily like a bad character though, but definitely overall a skip. And from there, the rest of the celebration was again pretty bare bones. We had some extreme super battle road stages, EZA, just generally normal stuff. Now, of course, we do hop right into something else that is exciting for a lot of players after the celebration, which is the Saiyan Day celebration. Now, we usually get the teasers for these Saiyan Day celebrations on Twitter, and then over time they start giving us in-game news. What I can say is that the teaser most likely drops on the 15th of March, and the reason for that is because the Dokkan Fest will again drop on the 18th of March, which is 3/18 in Japanese, that is Saiyan, right? And that is usually a pretty popular character, right? Of course, Saiyans are just going to be some of the more popular characters in the game, but previous years have been Transforming Vegeta, God Goku, and we had Super Saiyan Bardock before, right? Just a bunch of more exciting characters to a lot of people. Now, this is something that has already been synced on the global version for years, so not a lot of changes, except now we have the anniversary literally 2 weeks before it just ended, so you may have to manage your stones a little better if you're still interested in summoning for Saiyan Day. Usually for Saiyan Day as well, the Tanabata LR does return. Last year was the Tech UI Sign Goku, and will be his first opportunity to be obtained with red coins if you do have any. So if you want to get that Tech UI Goku really badly, make sure you also manage your red coins during the anniversary and not grab too many characters. During the anniversary, you'll also have the option to grab the physical Super Saiyan Trio and the Int LR Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. So do keep that in mind, right? A lot of red coin managing that you're going to have to do, but that is pretty much the entirety of March. We'll see likely a Super Easy and EZA during the Saiyan Day celebration. Again, it is bigger than a normal celebration, but it's not really too standoffish in terms of the actual content we will get. However, it is an exciting character, like I said, so many people may be interested in summoning. Now, after the Saiyan Day excitement kind of dawns down, we start heading into the month of April. At the end of April, we usually do get a Dokkan Fest teaser and reveal for just another normal Dokkan Fest TUR. Examples of the past few years are Physical Topo, Physical Raditz was one, we had AGL Kel in 2023, so kind of the general vibe of those characters, not again too exciting for the most part, but I think they're characters that a lot of people may have been asking for quite some time to get their representation in game. Now, I'm gonna be upfront with y'all. April is usually one of the more dead periods of the year in GP Dokkan, usually one of the more unexciting times. In this time slot, Global usually does get the New Year celebration that happened in GP all the way back at the end of December, but now it's gonna be just a and celebration, right? Nothing really crazy going on here. They don't usually drop like brand new difficult events or anything too wild. Again, not saying that the Dokkan Fest can't be good, but it's usually a character that you're going to want to go ahead and skip and wait to get on a future banner. From there, it's usually like just a whatever celebration. We have the New Year's, or not the New Year's, the April Fool's celebration going on at the same time, but it's not really a big deal. Then we pass by about 2 weeks before getting an LR. Usually this is a yellow corn LR that drops in this time frame. Last year was Int Ginyu, right? And again, it's a lot of times not a super exciting character, but a character that people may have been asking for a new card for, or just new representation. Other examples are like LR Super Boo, Tapion, and Minosha, right? Those kind of characters, and sometimes they could be pretty interesting and unique. It's just not really a banner that a lot of people will end up really summoning for. And I think that's completely fair, but a lot of times I would say it is also a skip, because at the end of April is when things start kind of ramping back up for Dokkan, and that is the Golden Week celebration. So at the end of April every single year we do get a dual Dokkan festival, and that is Golden Week as we call it, which is a string of holidays in Japan, and we usually get a pretty big celebration for that, coupled with a part 2 LR that we'll talk about later of course. But examples of this dual Dokkan Fest are Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Fat Boo from last year. We had the Super Saiyan GT Goku and Super Saiyan GT Vegeta, just usually genuinely hype characters for a majority of the fan base, at least one or two. Now, there could be some hit and misses here and there, but I think that this is a pretty decent time to summon, because there's not really going to be anything too worth summoning in the next couple of months, right? And on top of that, here the New Year's characters do actually return. Pretty quick turnaround, 4 months or so. And for example, this year, Glorio and Diamond Goku will be returning. I think Glorio is going to be a character that will likely age very well. Same with Diamond Goku, so we could definitely see them on these banners, and they'll be more than worth getting for. Previous Golden Week units usually do return, so like I said, Angel, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and Fat Boo will be here. So whoever the dual Dokkan Fest is for this year, it could be a very exciting time and a prime opportunity to get some really good characters. So that is usually what happens. Around the 24th-ish of April is when we see the teasers, and they officially drop in game around the 26th of April. So again, that is something that you can consider. If you skip the March and April celebrations in full, you'll likely have still a decent amount of stones going into this Golden Week celebration. And as we enter the month of May, not a lot really goes on here. The Part 2 LR for the Golden Week celebration drops about right in the middle, the 14th to the 16th range. Yellow Corn LR, again, this has been the same thing on Global in the past couple of years, so we don't really have to touch a lot into it. Characters like this are LR Ultimate Gohan, LR Super 17 comes to mind, right? So usually these characters are kind of but maybe they could be good sometimes. Like Bulma, when she came out, was really nasty, so it could be somewhere where you may want to save a little bit of stones potentially. And as we finish up the month of May, we do get a Dokkan Festival at the end of the month as always. And for example, last year this was Rose Goku Black, but in other years we've gotten characters like Physical Turles. So it is kind of a hit or miss in this spot. I would recommend this is probably a prime opportunity to skip, just because of what happens at the end of June, and we'll kind of talk about that because this is going to be another one of the biggest changes coming to the global version of the game. But this Dokkan Fest usually drops by around the 30th of the month, so maybe if it's a character you're really interested in, you could spend a couple of stones, but not really an important date. Now, this celebration also does end up having a Yellow Corn LR right about like the 3rd-ish week. Last year, LR Somax dropped on the 18th of June, so pretty close to the upcoming celebration we'll be talking about. This is definitely a skip banner for the most part, I would say, in terms of wanting to summon, because the next banner that comes out is actually the Tanabata celebration. So this is usually what's considered the thank you celebration on the global version. Now, in the past few years, this celebration has dropped pretty much around the November time, December time. So it is a couple of months after what actually happened on the GP. And this is when the anniversary alarms actually do end up returning in one of these banners during the celebration itself. And we do actually end up getting a Dokkan Festival LR. Now, it may be a little weird this year because this is where the global anniversary would actually end up being. So it's possible maybe they name this the global anniversary from now on. We'll see exactly how they handle things, but we usually get a Dokkan Fest LR like I said. Previous years were Tech UI Saiyan Goku, LR Vegeta Trunks, LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, so some very heavy hitters, which is why I was saying probably a decent thought process to skip this previous month or two of banners just so that you have a lot of stones for this. This drops usually again around the 30th of June, and as we head into July on the 7th, which is coincidentally the same day as the Global Dokkan Anniversary, we actually do end up getting the Tanabata banner with the anniversary LRs returning. So this year it'll be whatever the 2 anniversary Dokkan Fest LRs are, along with the new Tanabata LR itself. Pretty premium banner. There's a lot of featured characters, so it is mostly a time where you could actually use your coins to obtain the anniversary LRs rather than summoning a lot on that banner. But if you want to chuck a few stones at it, it is 3+1. It is not the most valuable banner to summon on per se, but it is not the worst either. And as we head into the second half of the Tanabata celebration, we actually see that the Carnival LR drops usually around the 20th to the 23rd of the month. It is again varying. It is a double rate Carnival banner. So we see the December Carnival LR actually return on this banner pretty frequently. So this last Carnival LR was actually Super Saiyan 3 LR Gotenks. So whenever he returns, should be on this banner. We should also probably see AGL LR Jiren on this banner. I could definitely see that happening, and whatever the new Carnival LR will actually end up being. But that's just an example using this year and these most recent units that have been releasing. This banner, not a bad idea to summon on, especially as we get more carnivals. It'll have a more value in itself, but again, this is more so of a banner that we have to wait and see rather than, yes, this is a banner you should be saving your stones for 100%. Especially compared to a Dokkan Fest, I still would say Dokkan Fest banners just genuinely are more worth summoning on. As Tanabata wraps up, there's actually one more banner that comes out before what's known as the Worldwide Celebration banner, and this is usually a similar time frame to the global version, so we won't again be touching too much on it, but it is just the August Dokkan Festival, or at least end of July Dokkan Festival, whatever you want to call it. Last year this was Roshi, for example, right? Again, these characters could be useful, but likely is a skip because the Worldwide Celebration actually drops at the end of August, so 100% a character that you shouldn't really be summoning on for the most part. Like, I understand Tanabata because it is a Dokkan Festival LR, and that LR usually does not return until same day of next week, or not next week, of the next year for the most part. But, you know, Worldwide, again, we get the countdown for Worldwide starting again around the 21st or something of the month, and at the end of the month we do get a Dokkan Fest X Carnival or a dual Dokkan Festival banner. This is likely the second most important time to summon for Dokkan, so I would recommend also shelving some stones away for that, which is why even skipping that Tanabata Part 2 LR banner we talked about earlier is probably a good idea. Again, global players, it will actually be easier for you guys to summon though this year compared to previous years, just because anniversary is no longer in that same time spot, right? I would say Tanabata is an easier time because it's only just one banner, maybe two, but compared to the usual anniversary having 4 banners to summon on realistically, it is a much easier time to ensure that you have the stones, given that anniversary is now at the end of January. So that's one last thing I wanted to highlight. And Worldwide Celebration goes through as usual, in the middle of the month we actually do get the Part 2 LRs that'll come by with them as well. And very exciting time, right? Having the Worldwide Celebration still at the same time. Maybe it'll be pushed up because of Global Anniversary. Maybe it'll stay the same. We don't know for sure. That's the only oddity, because this is called the Worldwide Celebration, but now the entire game is synced. So we'll see what happens there. Now, after the Worldwide Celebration LRs drop from the 13th, 14th range of September, we actually do not get another banner until the first week of October. So that is a long time to save. This is also just a normal TUR Dokkan Festival banner, as you guys have seen in previous years. Scouter Vegeta, he did actually come to global version at the same time still, and along with that, with him dropping the first week, we actually do end up getting a Part 2 LR that is usually related to the celebration. Again, doesn't always have to be, but that Part 2 LR does drop right in the middle of the month. Last year, this was Gohan and Piccolo. They dropped on the 15th of October, which is cool, but nothing really special there. Continuing on further from there, it is the end of October, which is pretty much the Halloween Dokkan Fest, as a lot of us call in the community. Another Dokkan Festival TUR banner that you could realistically skip. This Dokkan Festival banner last year was Lord Slug. And one thing I do want to highlight here is the actual change that will be happening to October. We don't know for sure, but last year the Hero Celebration was the final Hero Celebration as they stated, so there are no longer going to be brand new Heroes characters coming to Dokkan. Now, what I think is actually going to happen in this spot, which will both be new for Global and JP, will actually be a Part 2 LR. I think they'll start putting in an LR in this time slot just to go ahead and fill out the other banner. I do heavily doubt that they're just not gonna put a banner in this time frame. Maybe it could even be some sort of Daima collab. One of these years they actually did drop LR Gamma 1 and 2 and around this time slot as well. We had a crazy month of October. It was Dokkan Fest Bardock into Gamma 1 and 2 into Path to Power Kid Goku. It was like just a lot that just dropped at once, or somewhere in that time frame. I think it was Path to Power Kid Goku came up before Bardock the month before, but they dropped a lot during that month, that one year. Maybe this year it could be some sort of Daima characters. We'll see, but I do think that it is very likely to see a Part 2 LR or some other Dokkan Fest even in that spot. Probably dropping around, I would say, the 10th to the 15th of the month, just at least a week or two after, or 2-3 weeks after the actual Dokkan Festival would drop. From here, we could wrap things up with the final 4 banners of the Dokkan year. There is a Dokkan Festival that drops around the end of November. I would say from like the 27th to the 30th range is when we should expect to see that. From there, we actually do get a Double Rates Carnival LR banner that drops around the 11th of December. This Carnival LR banner usually does return the Tanabata LR in a lot of circumstances. Now, with the New Year step-up banners, it is possible that the Tanabata LRs actually return there instead, but that's not something we could really say 100% positively will be happening. We'll just have to wait and see. These 2 banners, I would actually say pretty big skips, as enticing as they could be, especially at Double Rates banner, because there's a lot of value upcoming at the end of December, which you guys saw again this year. Still relatively new to Global, but it is the end of year Dual Dokkan Festival, New Year's Dual Dokkan Fest as someone calls. This banner usually drops from the 24th to the 26th of December. Within that time frame, this year was actually Daima, Goku, and Glorio, but a lot of different years they were pretty decent picks, right? We've actually had a lot of Majin Buu Saga era characters in this spot, but some examples could also be Tech Vegeta Blue and STR Rose. We've had the Pikkon and Janemba, I guess, as another example. The transforming Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Vegeta, Superhero, Dragon Ball Super Broly. A lot of these hype characters come out this time, so it is another opportunity for you to use your stones. But as I said at the beginning of this video, anniversary usually drops the month after, and then we continue the cycle again. So how things just work in Dokkan, I guess if you want to make things simple, is about every 2 months there is a big premium time that you could summon for, but you really want to focus on these Dokkan Festival LR months, which is Anniversary, Worldwide, and Tanabata. Those are the premium months where you're able to get the most value from your summons. Same as every year, of course, but I think now it'll be easier on global players because usually those manners were actually in the second half of the year, but now they're more spread out throughout the entirety of the year, I would say. So good or bad thing, let me know what you guys are thinking. But that is all the important dates for the Dokkan Global news schedule. Let me know what y'all thinking. Thanks for watching, of course, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.